everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. I am Atanu, and today I'm joined by none other than Natalie from the Barmy Army MUWFC and All for United WFC. Welcome, Natalie.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be on and just to be talking about the girls.
Yeah, today we'll be discussing about, talking about the Casey Stoney side and their performance this season. So, building upon the name that I just said, Casey Stoney, for me, it's not just a name, it's an emotion. And it's not just me. Natalie would also say the same thing. Personally, I never watched the women's team play in the first two seasons, just regular updates on Google and, referring to their social media account. That's it. But back in the year 2020, I came across this app called as the FA Player. So I randomly saw a game being streamed there, West Ham versus United. So I started watching it, and luckily United won 4-2. The way Casey managed that team in that game and the way the team played, that was the time when I thought that okay, this team is special, and that was the moment that I actually fell in love with the team and started watching regular matches and never missed a game in the season other than the initial games that I missed. So we know that Casey stepped down as the manager of the Manchester United women's team just before the Leicester game. So, speaking for myself, initially I was of the idea that this decision is of the spur of the moment decision. So, after a while, when I started reading about the journalist and what they said, I realized that this issue is a lot deeper than we actually know of. So, it's the disappointment, it's our disappointment, and the board should be disappointed for actually not, fulfilling the promises that they made to the team and to Casey. And we all know that the investment has been bad, but reading about the things that the journalist said, maybe Emma said on the BBC Sport, that what had happened, and getting to the showers and getting to the toilets, a 10-minute walk to the toilets, and the showers weren't available initially. So that was actually, that makes a fan angry that there are pro footballers and they are not being treated well. So building upon that, Natalie, what were you feeling when you heard that Casey had stepped down? And did you have an intuition that something like this would happen?
Casey is Man United, like you said, and it's emotion, it's a feeling. When you say a name, when you watch a play, when you see a manager, when you see on the touchline. I've obviously been watching since 2018. I formed the Women Supporters Club. It's all about Casey and just the way she carries herself. So obviously, when it happened, I was surprised. But then when I read, and like you said, reading about the way that they treated them like second-class citizens, it's disgusting. It's a disgraceful. It's sort of epitomised everything about this ownership of this club, or the way they've sort of run us to the ground. This isn't Man United, really. The way that we're reading how they're being treated. It's not what I know of Man United, but it is what we know of this ownership. But listen, I was shocked when I obviously heard and she stepped down. Didn't believe it. I had to refresh it because I didn't think it was from a real account. Thought it was someone playing a trick. But like I said, you read everything and you think, well, that's Casey though. She wouldn't settle for that. She wouldn't allow things to be treated. I remember when we went and played Everton and they were saying, oh, the roof's leaked. And she said, what kind of rubbish is this? What kind of reason is this to cancel a game? And, I remember they were postponing it and she just sort of was like, this is not the standards that we want. And then obviously you hear of what's going on, and she's usually the person who's saying we need better for the women's game. So the fact that then that she stepped down, it's not a surprise because it's Casey and she would want the best, and they disappointed her, they failed her, and it's the team. Well, it's not the team because I know she's left us in good standing, but it's those fans that are devastated, and I'm sure the players are devastated through what's happened, and we have to go again. We have to find a new manager now. It's horrible. I hate this feeling, but we just this is why when fans protest and they talk about things, talk about the women's team as well, because this isn't, you want every Man United team should be treated a certain way, whether it's girls, boys, children, and we hear if they're not able to go to it, they're not able to get a shower, what kind of, and then they're just twisting it to look like it's COVID. No, there are issues. I think they'll get better, yeah, because now it's come out and Casey stepping down has sort of taken that mantle and she's highlighted it through stepping down. If she just carried on, no one would have thought anything, but now it's really brought it all to light and people are talking about it, and you know she's done well by stepping down, but obviously we're all very, very hurt by it.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually shocking to every fan, to be honest. So you see, you talked about the frozen pitches and the games getting cancelled. So for the viewers right now, the plan was that the women's team would shift to the Cliff training ground in Salford, which was earlier used by the men's team. But the
Uh-huh.
refurbishment work, which was needed because it had been abandoned, kind of abandoned for a few years. So refurbishment work was needed, and it still has not been done. And as Natalie
Mhm.
said, that the Glazers or the board would use the pandemic card, even though it was planned in 2018, so it should have been accomplished by 2020. The pandemic came in March 2020. They were 2 years before that. The work wasn't done in those 2 years, and then this pandemic hit hard and the team had to shift to Carrington. And as I said, that the showers weren't available and the toilets were a 10-minute walk. So that was actually pretty, that makes a fan angry. That is really irritating to see that pro footballers are being treated like this. And this is not actually the talk of investment. This is basic necessities that a club should provide to their players. So it is was understood that Casey Stoney had been unhappy regarding the training facilities for quite some time. So I saw this coming, like something of this stature would happen, but this early, that I didn't expect. So yeah, moving on to the season, we started the WSL season pretty good. We drew against Chelsea 1-1. Galton scored a goal, and Jackie got an assist in that game. I saw these games. I saw the highlights of these games because I didn't actually see these games. So after that, we won 5-2 against Birmingham. Carla Ward's side. Hansen scored a brace and an assist. So Kirsty Hansen, an appreciation. Applause for Kirsty Hansen because she has been she isn't talked about in the player of the season debate, but she has been performing well this season. So Natalie, thoughts about that?
Yeah, definitely, and I think she stepped up from the player that when she first came in at 2018. She's still a bit shy, but she was really shy. But now she's like blossomed, and she's got loads of confidence. And like you say, you talk about that Birmingham game. Oh, she made an assist. She was creating loads of chances. She scored a brace, like you say. She even, I know we're going to go on to it, but she scored like the equaliser against City, and she's up there as one of the top scorers. I think she's got about, I don't know how many goals, but it might be about 4. I know might not be a lot, but there's not as many games in the women's league. But she's up there near the top of the charts for goals and assists still, and she's not played as many games as I say like other players. She started the season, but then obviously we had Tobin and Kristen, and then obviously when Tobin came into form, Tobin sort of made that right wing her own, which is right. But she learned a lot, I think, from Tobin and Kristen, and I think probably she's changed her mentality. More thinking about, yeah, we are going to win. How are we going to win? Not how they're going to beat us. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to go out every game and beat them. And that's what I want to see more of from her. Because I think when she gets that killer mentality, we're always going to win, then you always see the best out of her. Because I think when she's confident, that's when you see the best. But you've always got to be confident no matter what. And it was coming from her. I'm excited to see what she does next season. She's got a new contract, quite a long-term one. So it's just almost for Kirsty Hansen for me.
Yeah, same. Like there are many players that I adore in the team, but Kirsty Hansen is my favorite player as of now. So yeah. So after the Birmingham game, we won 3-0 against Brighton. Tobin Heath got a first assist for the Manchester United Football Club. And Alessia Russo scored her first goal. I think Alessia Russo was brought in to, just as the main striker, integrating her into the team.
Yeah, definitely. And then you talk about Tobin and just the way that she celebrated her assist. I don't know if you saw it, but she was like, "Yeah!" Like she had scored. I thought as well that is what you want to see: determination, love of the game. Like no matter who you score, it's assists can mean as much as a goal. And celebrating all your team's goal. And like you said about Leslie, she is a top striker, so she's been waiting for the not just this year. No, she missed a lot of it, but the future years and everything like that.
So, yeah, Natalie, as we all know that United then after the Birmingham game, United won 3-0 against Brighton. Russo scored her first goal and Tobin Heath got her first assist. So, Tobin was celebrating so passionately. It was as if she had scored the goal. And Russo's been amazing. I think she is the future star for us. She's being integrated into the team for, future seasons. So, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, definitely. And I think Russo would have been our top goal scorer. I mean, Tooney's done fantastically well, nevertheless, but I think Russo definitely would have been our top goal scorer. I think, yeah, she's going to be the striker for Man United for years to come, as long as she stays fit, definitely for next season. But I think Russo would have been the top goal scorer for the, up there with, Sam Kerr and Kirby, as top strikers. And it's kind of a bit worrying that Tooney was there's no other striker. Russo's injured. Who is there? But I think I know it's something we're going to touch on, but we need to be more clinical, and I think that is ultimately cost us in the end. I know you talked about watching that West Ham game. That was Russo at her best, and unfortunately we never saw her again since. And I think the chances are created, the chances are there. It's just sometimes our players get one-on-one and they don't take them. I think Russo definitely will, and I'm excited for Russo next year. I think she's going to be a big year for her. But it's just who else, Russo and another maybe, and then we'll be up there definitely competing.
Yeah, we definitely need a striker in this window. And talking about that, Russo could have been the most top goal scorer in the league. I see there are no strikers in the United women's top scorers, and there's Tooney, there's Hansen, and there's Garden, and there's no striker. So that's actually worrying. But I think that because Russo was injured, she wasn't able to do well. And as to Kristen Press, I think a player when makes a change from a league to another league, in this case from NWSL to FAWSL, he or she might take some time. So that was perfectly normal that she wasn't all firing guns initially, but slowly, steadily towards the end, she actually proved that why she's regarded the top player that she is. So yeah, and I think recruiting Tobin Heath and Kristen Press was actually a statement to all the other leagues and to all the world that yeah, Manchester United women's team are ready to compete at the top level.
Definitely, because 2 World Cup winners coming in, and just like you say, it took Press a bit longer than Tobin, unfortunately, and we saw towards the end their best form, but that wasn't. I mean, we needed it a bit earlier, and I know she was ill for a bit. But listen, Tobin did so much wonderful work for us, and I think it's a shame she got injured really in Christmas, because who knows where we could have been with a Tobin Heath fully fit all season. And like you say, if that's all it is, if that's how close we are, Tobin Heath kind of player, and yeah, it's going to take investment and all that. Those players ain't just knocking around, but if that's all it is, a bit of experience, quality, flair, then that's how close we are. Because for me, it's not a coincidence we're sitting top in January. Obviously, yeah, we've ended up finishing 4th. It's, we're a bit disappointed. We would have liked European football, but for me, I think it's pretty much nailed on, guaranteed. And I don't like to say that, but for me, next year, I think we will be in Europe. I think we will win a trophy. And, who knows, we might even win the league. I just think if the girls add a bit of consistency to the game, they've shown they can do it half a season. So go and do it the whole season. It doesn't matter. Just get the wins, and no matter what, you should be pulling out points. And if you can get that sort of grit and determination to the end, then yeah, I'm confident in this team.
Yeah, definitely. And you talk about that we were top of the league until 17 January when we lost to Chelsea 2-1. Before that, there were many games that we proved that yeah, they deserve to be at the top of the table. There was that 1-0 win against Arsenal that was, very iconic for me because until the 83rd minute, I was like, am I wasting my 2 hours of my day or what? So after that, Jessica Sigsworth, brilliant assist. Tooney scored the goal, 1-0 win against Arsenal, who are considered to be one of the best teams in WSL. So yeah, that was a good game. After that, we drew with City. Tobin Heath, what a goal! We were losing 2-0 at halftime, and I was like, are we actually going to win or are we actually going to make a comeback? So I don't know what happened at halftime, whether it was Sir Alex's famous hair dryer treatment that Casey gave to the squad or something inspirational that she said. So yeah, 2-0 at halftime and 2-2 at full time. That has to be, my favorite game of the season. My memorable game of the season. Tobin Heath's goal, my favorite goal of the season. So Natalie, what about your favorite goal of the season?
No, I think bang on like 2-2 coming back. We looked absolutely awful in that first half. And like you say, what did she do? She said she just switched up the press. I think it was more to it. I think there was inspiration from TNC and, never give up. Doesn't matter that you're down, keep fighting till the end. But I just want to touch back on that other game, the Arsenal game as well. And like you say, you thought, oh, I'm wasting my time. Listen, we dominated that game. We absolutely destroyed them. We should have been 3-4 up, And that's why I go back to when I said clinical. We should have been 3-0 up at half time, minimum. I'm glad though we did get that point. It doesn't matter. We've shown that we can do it now. We've shown we can beat them. We've shown that we can compete. Even the Chelsea game, I know talking about these, but like for me, it was just a silly mistake why we didn't do it. It was our own doing rather than Chelsea undoing us. We came back against them to make it 1-1. And then it was just, like I said, consistency, know it in your head, hang up, because if we had got that 1-1 and, it could have been a totally different, Tobin wasn't there, but it could have been, it's that kind of experience and these things you'll learn and think again next year and, not to let your head get down after this and that. And, I think as well that 2-2 game coming back like that, we've never ever done that. I've never seen the girls come back from being sort of down like that. So that'll give them a load of experience as well. And this whole season will really. But I'd say, the Arsenal and the City games are my favourite. And I'd probably say, the Tobin goal, that was just beautiful. So that is my favorite goal of the season.
Yeah, same as for me. And this 2-2 game actually, demonstrated that this team has that fighting spirit. Even if that fighting spirit came from the arrival of Tobin Heath and Kristen Press, but there's this fighting spirit that has been there in the team and it has been reignited or whatever. So, we won various games in the league in the year 2020 and finished the year 2020 on a bang, 6-1 against Bristol City. Tobin Heath brace, Leah Garton brace. What a game. I mean, up until the halftime, I was sure that we were going to win, but having such a big score line, I wasn't sure of that. So it all went downhill after that, I think. Ever since 2021 started, we lost to Chelsea 2-1, and that's when we weakened our grip at the top spot. And then we won 2-0 against Birmingham, which was a good win, getting back to that winning streak. Then we won against 2-0, then we won 2-0 against Everton, and then that Reading game. I mean, that was the game when I realized, that whether we'll be in the top three or not, because that 2-0 loss at home against Reading in February, I think, was very, disheartening for me. Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I think that 2-0 defeat is just, it's like I say, go back to the clinicalness. They're not clinical enough, and Press had her chances, Tooney had her chances, Leah was still there, she had her chances, and we need someone that's just gonna bang, always bang, bang, bang. And this is when I'd probably go back to Alessia. If Alessia was there, maybe she would have got the goal. Because in a way, that Reading game was sort of similar to the initial sort of Brighton game that you say that we won 3-0. They were very compact, very tight at the back, and Alessia sort of won a penalty, scored a goal. So it's things like that we probably need. Someone like her, just an out and out striker. And I think as well, a lot of the upset from that, Chelsea lost as well. So it's sort of like, what could have been? We would have been top again. And I think though as well, a lot of stuff that we've now read about was going on at the time. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but when we say like you haven't got toilet, you haven't got this, that was all going on at the time, and there's a lot of unrest, and that wouldn't have helped. You can't. You need your team to be backing you. You need your club to be backing you, and obviously that's what they felt like they weren't. But the way I look at it, no matter how many injuries we had, no matter how much whatever, we should be beating Reading. And I know we're going to go on to the other one, but that team was good enough then to beat them, and it is, like you say, disheartening that they didn't.
Yeah, and after that as well, we lost to City 3-0, and you know, uh, like while watching women's football, I've never cried, but that day I cried because Leah Galton had an ankle injury, or I don't know which injury was it, and she was, just on the cusp of crying, and that actually made a lot of fans, sad, and we lost 3-0. That was a dreadful game, to be honest, but yeah, we lost Leah Galton early in the first half, so I don't know whether we could have won that game or not, but yeah, I look upon that, and then go against then we won against Villa 2-0, 3-0, and then we lost against Arsenal, who were a player down in the second half. So I agree to the point that you made, that if Alicia was fit, we could have won, maybe one or two of these games that we lost. So I think in that Arsenal game, I felt we were missing Russo and we were missing Tobin Heath. We have actually missed Tobin Heath in every game ever since her injury. So what were you feeling after that Arsenal 2-0 loss? And they were a player down, and I actually think that we could have won maybe drew against them because they were a player down, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, first half to be honest, again, I don't understand what we were doing. There was multiple chances where they could have scored. Tooney had, Lauren had, Kristen Press, and these aren't insignificant players. These are the Kristen Press, World Cup winner, Ella Toon's now our top goal scorer, Lauren James, one of the best young talents, and it's just, I don't know why. I don't know why. I can't explain. It's like what we said. It's like there was that never say die spirit at the start, and that all got sort of put out in the second half. And it was like chalk and cheese, the two halves really of the season. It's like complete opposites, and it's just a shame that it's happened that way and didn't happen the other way. But I think we need to look at the positive. I think the fact that we went all the way to the end, fighting and trying to get to the fourth. And I mean, you talk about the games like Birmingham and Villa and all that. Those games, the season before last, those were the games that we were dropping points. So the games against Arsenal, Chelsea, City. Okay, maybe we're not up to their level as yet, but it's the Reading game, I suppose, that's the one. I know we're going to come on to the Brighton game, but that's the one as well. But it's still good that we're still sort of beating your Birmingham and your Villa, because those were causing us trouble a lot last year. So it's like we've jumped one step by actually winning these other games. I mean, I know with the Reading, that's but that's what you have to do. You have to win the games around you. And if you take points off people at home, the big ones at home, which we did, then you can look at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the loss against Reading and the loss against Brighton, that 1-0 loss against Brighton, was actually what was one of the reasons maybe for Casey Stoney stepping down, because we have seen that she has blamed herself and took the blame on herself that we couldn't get the UWCL spot for next season. So yeah, it's disheartening. And now we were talking about the board actually not providing the manager the uh, with the signings, or the training facilities were pretty bad and the basic necessities weren't being provided. So this actually I think of one point that we, Manchester United Football Club, use this hashtag all red all equal for disparity, for decreasing disparity, and equality. We push equality through this hashtag, but at the ground reality, we know that they haven't done the similarly towards the women's team. If we see, would they have treated the women's team and the men's team equally? I don't think so. They treated the men's team in a better way than they did to the women's team. I saw that a quote somewhere that said that if Paul Pogba wouldn't have gotten that shower and had to walk 10 minutes, this story would have been a much more, bigger story. And right now it's happening to the women's team, and people actually, just think about it and say, okay, that's fine. So actually that's the wrong attitude towards it, don't you think?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think that hashtag has been exposed now. It's not already all equal. That they want us to do this, do that, and we care about this. No, like you said, Paul Pogba, if he wouldn't have got his shower, you would know about it. If the men were being treated like this, you would know about it. The men get everything done for them. They are treated with respect. They are treated, as decent human beings. And I think, yeah, you can say, oh, the levels and this and that. And, I'm not saying, oh, they should get all this, the women, but it's just like you say, it's the basic, it's the necessities, it's being treated with respect. Like you say, a shower, a toilet. It's not like they're asking for Ferraris and stuff like that. They're just asking for the basics that they need to fulfill their job. If you weren't getting the base, if you didn't have water and stuff in your office, you wouldn't work there. You would tell everyone, don't work in that office because we're not got this, we're not got that. Basic necessities. They're not asking, like people might think, oh, the women who did it, they know they're not as good at, they know they're not Man United, who's been going and has got the big brand. They know that they've been started since 2018. They know that they're building it up. They know it's going to take time, slowly. They know, all this, but the, basics. That's what we need to just ask for: water, shower, toilet. It's not a lot. Because I bet you the boys, but you the under 12 and all, they'll have that because it's a system that's been in place for ages. And I just hope that, like you said, she's had to resign over it, which I think has sent a shockwave. And I just hope that they learn from this now and think, we can't do it on a shoestring or whatever. We need to be properly invested, really committed, and know why we've signed up, realize that everyone deserves, if they're in there wearing that bread, we should be treating them all the same, like you said, all red all equal, not just hashtag it, do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if we see, they are just hollow words. They aren't actually doing anything. Actions aren't there, and we know that actions speak louder than words. And in this case, there's no action. And I think their gym was also in a tented facility. And as a pro footballer, you have to have that. Training facilities have to be on top. If you want to compete at the top level, if you want to get that UWCL spot, the board, the club has to provide those facilities. And I don't think that They actually didn't care about that. They just, due to the pandemic, they shifted the women's team to the Carrington and just forgot about them. No facilities, no nothing. And I actually keep on saying this, the lack of investment. But yeah, as I said, these are basic necessities, and it angers me a lot when I talk about it. It's actually very bad on the club's part that they aren't doing you know even 50% of what they actually promised to Casey Stoney when they formed the team in 2018. So yeah. So moving on, yeah, then towards the end we won 4-1 against Tottenham, which was a good score line. Players were actually pumped up. Yeah, we'll do well. And then we won against Bristol, which was a narrow 1-0 win, but yeah, a win is a win. Everton 2-0. We could have won. We could have scored more, but we weren't clinical. And then Jackie left for Netherlands. Kristen went back to USA, and Casey Stoney announced she resigned from the team. And then when I came on the All for United, also I talked that earlier we had beaten Leicester City by bigger margins, and this is a Leicester team that have actually done well recently. They are promoted to the WSL for next season. So yeah, fans were pumped that we would win, and considering Casey is stepping down, I also thought that the team would put in more efforts, but the defense was shambolic that game. I remember that Jessica Sixworth scored that goal, and they all went to Casey Stoney to hug her, and that actually, talking about it actually brings back so many emotions. But after that, we were just shambolic. Jane Ross scored a good goal in that game, but what about the defense? The defense was shambolic, and this is something that I have seen earlier as well. If we concede one goal, then we have a tendency to concede another goal, which shouldn't be the right mentality. If you concede one goal, then you need to focus on not conceding and scoring as well, which wasn't the case in this game.
No, and it's something that the defence has been hit and miss really, on and off. And I think we missed Amy Turner that day, and apparently she started. I don't know what happened, but she must have got a knock because then Maria Torres had to come in, and obviously Maria and Millie have played before, but again in a defeat. Amy Turner's been our solid centre back all season. And yeah, I agree. It was shambolic. It was, I don't know, because you would think derived from any passion, but your manager's leaving. I just feel like it was maybe, it's all that feeling, and it's all come out now, and everyone's talking about how you've been cheated, and but again, can't make excuses. There's no excuses when you play here, men's or women's team. Yes, we know what happened, even with the protest and everyone running on the pitch, but even then, still no excuse for why the men's team lost against Leicester and Liverpool. For me, and what happened with the girls and Casey Stoney resigning, but it's still no excuse for the performance that you put on the pitch. And I know Casey says a lot about I failed, but I do think that even though everything that went on and everything that happened, the players do need to take some responsibility, because like you say, we have this mentality where we'll either concede and we won't score again, or we'll concede and like you say, it'll be 2-3, we'll concede, and that's what happened basically. We were in cruise control, 2-1, no worries. Yeah, it was a bad mistake, bad mistake. They made it 2-2, but why then a few seconds after are you conceding it again? And then that's it, gone, over. And it's not like we didn't have 10-20 minutes left. And that's what I see with these. There's a lack of concentration at the back, and then there's a lack of clinicalness up front. So we'll have loads of chances. Really, we were so close to going to. They cleared it off the line. It would have been 3-1, but instead then we lost 3-2. And maybe this new manager, whoever it may be, I don't have a clue, but they'll sort of drive in new standards. That's all you can hope for, and hope that they get investment properly. And I do think the club now will invest and will, they can't not have him at Carrington next year just because through what's happened. So I think it's going to shock them into some kind of reaction. And like you say, with the protests that have gone on at Old Trafford, and I think will still go on potentially next year if nothing really changes. it's going to have to shock our owners into something, you know, that they're going to sit down with fans and answer questions. And I hope that there'll be questions about the women's team there. I'm confident they will, because you know, Barmy Army, we liaise with a lot of people, so I'm confident that the Glazer, he'll have to answer some questions about what's going on with the women's team, because a lot of people are upset and are angry over what we're reading, over Casey resigning. And then, you know, we were top and we went to fourth, and I think that, yes, the players have to take responsibility, but so does the owner through the way they treated them. So I expect there to be some questions about the women's team and him having to answer it and sort of explain what is the next step in a way, because, you know, the promise, the cliff building is finished. It's a write-off. So how can you promise them such thing and then not put no money in? Like you're saying, it would have already been done if they did it back then. I am confident though for next year. I think a new manager, fresh start, the foundations are there, the good team is there, so I feel like it can change the thing around. I just hope that everyone's still supporting, to everyone who has watched the women's team, everyone who follows the Barmy Army, or for United, even this channel, for talking about it, sticks with them and gives them the support that they need.
Yeah, I mean, from building upon what you said, that no offense to anyone, but when Amad Diallo, the new men's player, was signed, and when he was playing for the academy for the under-23s game, every United fan, and I mean every United fan, was after me or after somebody to give them a streaming link so that they can watch him play. So I just told them one thing: if you can watch Amad Diallo play for 2 hours, you can obviously watch the women's team play for 2 hours as well. And we all know that how good they play. It's not about, you know, forcing someone to watch the games, but this notion that women's football isn't good is bad actually. And I see a lot of United fans as well, the men who follow the men's team, say that who will follow the women's team, who has the time. And I say, you have the time, you watch other games as well. So much, so might as well, you know, shift to the women's football and support our women's team as well. So that's one thing that, you know, I try to tell people, that if you watch the academy games, do watch the women's game as well, because Manchester United Football Club isn't just the men's team, it's the women's team and the academy as well, and all the staff members, and sadly our owners. So yeah. So and you said that the defense was shambolic, and you know, we were missing Amy Turner. I think Amy Turner in the women's team plays a role similar to what Harry Maguire does in the men's team. For the viewers, I'm, you know, just, you know, putting this onto context. The way she, you know, distributes the ball from the back, and she actually knows how to play from the back. Same is with Harry Maguire in the men's team. We saw in the last few men's games that the team missed Harry Maguire a lot. The same is with Amy Turner, I feel. And you know, reports and rumors are there that Amy Turner might leave, and that actually would, you know, force us to sign two center backs, because right now we need a center back. If Amy Turner leaves, we might have to sign another top center back. And out of the two, no disrespect to anyone again, out of the two Turner twins, or Amy Turner, Millie Turner, I would actually, you know, put Amy Turner forward, because she's more experienced, and you know, she's more calm in the situations when someone has conceded. And that game, I think Millie Turner and Maria Thorisdottir haven't played many games together, so the partnership was an issue, according to me. Maybe a preseason this summer might, you know, solve the compatibility issues that the squad has been having. And you know, when we talk about the defense, one game comes forward, Ona Bhatia, player of the season. What a season she's had. You know, people might say, oh, she doesn't have the goals, she doesn't have the assist, but football is much more than the goals and assists. The way she's you know, calm at the back. I remember against Chelsea, I don't remember, was it Kirby or someone, she, you know, just pushed the player aside and, you know, tackled. So that was a very good sight to watch, you know, getting a wing back actually going into the tackles. And I feel the way Una has performed this season has actually, you know, put things into perspective for the squad, that Leah Galton can be shifted to the left wing side forward, left back, maybe Una. Una can play anywhere, left wing, right back, left back. So yeah, Una, and I think we need to sign a new wing back this season, because Kirsty Smith and Martha Harris can't start every game. So we need a partner to Una Bhatia. So what do you think about Una's season, Natalie?
Oh, I love Anna. Oh, she's just fantastic. She is the best fullback. She is up and down, bombing that wing. I mean, I know players play a Luke Shaw, but Anna's exactly the same. She is absolutely different class. And like you say, she might not have created all the chances or, that many assists, but she's basically dedicated, determined, like you say, then she pushed the player off the ball, and when she did this, and I think she creates chances in that she might not make the assist, but she's sort of in there progressing the ball forward, starting the attack. And players like that go unnoticed. Just because she's not got an A next to her name doesn't mean she's had a bad game, and doesn't mean that she's not done a lot. And I'm really excited for what's going to be with her. And I think, get another Honor Batye next to her, in left or right, whether she wants to play, get another one like that, and we're flying.
Yeah, exactly. I think we need to focus on a center back, a wing back, uh, maybe a central defensive midfielder as a backup to Haley Ladd. Because according to me, when Haley got injured, our midfield kind of disintegrated because we had to play a double pivot then. Zelim and Gronin sometimes, or Zelim and Lucy Stan sometimes. So that's what a CDM is actually important in every format of the game. So I think that actually sums up what we should be looking at. And I think the not extending Tobin's and Kristen's contract, or whatever the issue is, I think that's actually going to um, create issues, or whatever might be the word. I think we need to get a manager first, ask them what their insights are and what their views are on this team. And then maybe, I think Casey has said this in the press conference, that she had already planned for the summer. So yeah, build upon that, get the team together. And I think the Olympics are coming and many of the players will be there. So it might create an issue with the preseason. But right now, the main focus should be getting a manager. The first priority should be getting a manager, talk to them, talk about Casey's. She must have given some notes to John Murtuck or maybe someone at the club, discuss that, and get someone good. I think many fans want a manager with the European experience. I personally wanted Carla Watt because she had done a wonderful job at Birmingham. She actually saved their season. So, but she has gone to Aston Villa now, so nothing can be done. So yeah, get a manager with good experience, and this has to be the priority right now.
Yeah, 100% get a manager in. I think like the positions that you've described, fullback, centre back, central defensive midfield, and then just forwards. Get some clinical strikers in. I'd look at getting 2 forwards and maybe a winger. So then you're looking at wing back, centre back, central defensive, 2 forwards, and so about 6 players in. But I can see nearly that going. Maybe a bit more going, but yeah, the manager is going to be the key thing. I know that Casey is probably, like you say, laid a foundation, so there will be outgoings and then maybe a couple of incomings, and yeah, that'll be Casey's decisions that she's already made, and then then it's the new manager. A new manager will know already, like, I want X, Y, and Z. Managers, men, women, whatever, they come in and they already say X, Y, and Z. So I'm sure a new manager will come in with either a new backroom team or knowing the kind of players that they usually work with. So it's just about I suppose getting that done quickly so that you've still got the time for the manager to bring in who they want. And that's the thing with the Man United as a whole. I think everything's done very slowly. We can't afford to be slow. I think get the manager in and then get their players straight away. And I like to think that they are doing that they're interviewing people. I've heard whispers, like you said, European experience. Obviously, I love Carla Ward. It's someone I've followed for a while. But like you say, she's gone to Villa. But someone who I've heard is called Gerard Precure or whatever, managed Leon. Leon, if anyone knows, they're the best women's football team. They have won 5 in a row European Champions League. So he's the one who started that dominance. So for me, it's a perfect man who's got experience in Europe, who can basically take us that next step. Casey has done so much. She's built the team from scratch, 21 players, all that kind of thing. I'm devastated that we didn't get the Champions League, but I think now, boom, get someone to get us the Champions League, win us the league, and then win us the European Cup. For me, it can be done. It's just on the owners and this club to show how much do you want it, because I want it a lot, you want it a lot, and I think even though you say to people who don't watch women's football team, if they start seeing Man United have won a league, people will start tuning in. That's the case of it. So this whole club wants it. The players will want it. How much do the owners really want to invest? Like you said, all red, all equal. For me, I think it'll be fantastic if both men and women's are winning trophies. So, and the sponsors and all that will love it. So come on, let's get it. Let's win trophies next year, both men and women.
Exactly, Natalie. We have to win something, and maybe after we win something, fans will come and support the women's team as well. So just before I end, Natalie is from the Barmy Army MUWFC and the All for United WFC. Do check out their Instagram account and Twitter accounts, and all the links will be in description below. Do subscribe to All for United WFC's new channel. They have come up with their own independent women's team channel. Brilliant content, original content. The team is fantastic. Same with Barmy Army MUWFC. They have a YouTube channel and they do podcasts on a regular basis. Do subscribe to their channel as well. All the links will be in the description below. Thank you, Natalie, once again for coming on the United Star. Can't wait to have you back next season.
Thanks for having me on. Can't wait to be back.
Cheers. Until next time.